Cllr Longstaff is with us this evening that wishes to address this committee. Cllr Longstaff, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, and thank you, Chairman, for allowing me to speak. I basically want to just point out a few points really about what the residents are feeling as best I can about this error. So I think it's, I could start by using the words of Dame Janet Sussman, who describes herself as a secular Jew. She says, the idea of a constant daily reminder bang outside my door, indeed anyone's door, of religious practices which I find, if not anachronistic, then superstitious, is not a happy one. I don't wish to be forcibly reminded of beliefs which play no part in my life, even though I respect them well enough in others. I think that is pretty much the feeling of the residents of High Barnet, that they live in a multicultural society, and not as they feel this would set up a society of multiple cultures. One of the other points, which is not raised by anybody so far, so I'll only stick to the ones that haven't been raised, is that I find that everyone says that these polls are not, they're not advertising, they're not marketing the place as a Jewish area. But I would like to draw the committee's attention to a quote from the Barnet Synagogue's Rabbi Barry Lira, when he says, I hope it will encourage Orthodox families to move into the area. I think the future of the Orthodox Jewish community depends on these. So I think when people say it won't encourage people to move into the area, Rabbi Barry Lira clearly states that he hopes it will. I'd also like to point out that it is, I believe, tremendous arrogance on the part of anybody, especially in the planning department, to tell me what I will and will not notice. The only person who knows what I will notice is me. And if my residents notice the poles and they know the poles are there, they will notice the poles, whether you paint them in camouflage, paint them white. You had one pole black against a white building. Are you going to paint the pole white, or are you going to paint the pole grey? The residents will notice those poles, and to say, to dismiss the visual amenity would be completely wrong. We've heard all about the consultation, the different numbers. I think the last figures I saw were 103 people wrote in, 101 objections, only 2 people in for the application, of which one of those lived in Golders Green. Have I got a minute left, you said? Sorry. I think the visual amenity alone is reason to reject this application. The vast number of polls in such a small area is reason enough. And I hope the committee will listen to my comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Cllr Longstaff. Right, Cllr O'Sullivan.
Good evening. I have to admit, today we were doing site visits, and it was pointed out to me during our site visit that for the last 4 or 5 years, without my knowledge, I've been driving under an area of 2 poles and a wire over Finchley Central Bridge. I drive over that bridge probably twice a week, and I had absolutely no idea it was there. And the same in Millville Circus as well. I only now know about it because it's been really pointed out to me, which suggests to me that the impact on the streets is minimal, and you only know they're there if someone physically points them out to you.
Well, I totally disagree with that point. As we've seen from the slides provided by the planning department, these poles aren't going up by bridges. These poles aren't going up. They're going up, as you can see on this particular one, absolutely clear as day, in the middle of a fairly clear street scene. So if someone knows they're there, they know they're there.
Yes, Cllr O'Sullivan.
Excuse me, Councillor, you mentioned about the idea of more people moving into the area because of these things. I think no one would complain about any group of people living anywhere, but I think, are you suggesting perhaps that the area the community would be segregating itself then due to this, or that some inadvertent issue like this would arise?
It is possible, yes, it is possible that it would attract people into the area, but it's also possible that these polls are going up as marketing. They're telling people that this is a Jewish area.
Councillor Longstaff.
Following on in a logical sequence, I presume that you would then speak out against Christmas decorations and churches having signs and posters about Christmas. Because they are visible manifestations of religion in an area.
I'm not saying that at all. Most Christmas trees appear on private land. For example, the High Barnet Christmas tree last year was actually on church land. And in fact, I know that the Christmas tree that was going to go into the Strawberry Vale Centre was pulled on the grounds that it was in the middle of an area that included a large number of Muslim people, and in order to maintain a kind of calm air across the whole of Strawberry Vale, they decided not to put the Christmas tree up.
Any other questions for Councillor Longstaff? Thank you very much indeed, Councillor Longstaff.